I have good hope. He trained, but he had to do some treatment. He had to do some individual training, and today he joined in the group. So I think we have one more day. So I have a good hope he's available. Yeah, I think so.
What is the issue? And secondly, there's been some talk about his contract situation and negotiations. Are you able to offer any information on how the negotiations are going?
No, we never do. It's an internal process, and we focus on winning games. Of course, we're also planning for the future, and so in the back we're working on that. But it's that is about agents. It's about the football director John Murdoch, and we're focusing, Rassi and I, on performing.
Melissa.
Erik, you've spoken about not wanting to get into Marcus Rashford's future, but news today that Luke Shaw has agreed a new long-term deal with Manchester United. Reward for his performances?
Oh, if he signed, I don't know. I haven't heard till now, so John didn't inform me till now, so I have to wait for that. But if the truth, I would be really pleased, and yeah, definitely, yeah, we want to keep him because he's a really important player for our team.
Is that the same with Rashford and David De Gea? You'd like them to remain at Manchester United?
Yeah, true.
Erik, Marcus is having his best season since he broke through at Manchester United. I just wonder what you put that down to, what you've told him or what he's done himself that's made him transform his form this year compared to where he was a year ago.
It's not about just to talk. It's not like I'm not Harry Potter. It's like a process, and so there are many tools you're putting in. So in your management to let people get to his best form and to his best shape. So yeah, that is about, of course, lineup. That's about way of play. That is about, of course, coaching. That's about talks, informal, formal. That's about coaches working with him, and especially it's a lot about himself, because he's the one, and he has the skills. So when he is in the best attitude, he's in the best mentality, then he will score goals.
Samuel.
Erik, is Anthony Marshall available to play this weekend?
He's training, and so for 2 weeks now, and I think he can be in the squad for Sunday.
And obviously, where he's not played a lot this season, and Val hasn't scored many goals, Scott McTominay's had a pretty terrific week with Scotland. He played as a striker for the academy. Would there be any scenario where you would consider him playing as a striker? I know you brought him on against Chelsea early in the season, you put him up front, but would you do that more frequently?
I think Scott can play in many roles, and it's clear he has scoring capabilities. We have seen for Scotland, but also this season already for us. He has a really good finisher, but I see him as a midfielder. And I think I'm happy what Wout is doing, because when Wout is in the team is performing better.
Neil.
Obviously Marcus has scored a career best amount of goals this season, but is the one thing that maybe a team short of is that second player to be scoring like he is? Because while Marcus has got 14 in the league, I think the next best is 5. Is that what this team's short of?
I think we have players like Bruno, like Jadon Sancho, like Anthony Martial, like Scott McTominay, like Anthony Dos Santos. So I think we have players who have the capabilities to score goals, definitely.
The problem is Marshall is never available, so we can't have that scenario going into next season.
Yeah, but what I said previously, I work in the back on next season, but we're working now in this season. And so, first of all, make sure that everyone is available, so everyone is fit, and then keep improving the way of play. And that gives the best chance that we will score more goals.
Chris.
Hi, Eric. Just on Sunday's game, you mentioned before the cup final that you were irritated by Newcastle, that they can irritate you with their tactics. I think that you're concerned about time wasting. Is that a concern going into the game on Sunday?
A concern, we know, they delay. Yeah, and it's something that is what the refereeing doesn't want. They want to have tempo in the game. That is the aim from the Premier League, to have tempo in the game. So then they also have to be consistent to let the game go and do and act what the policy is.
Is that their only tactic that kind of irritates you?
The what?
Is that their only tactic that irritates you?
No, but you said now the question, but it's about us. And like we did in the two previous games, it's about us. We want, as every game, we want to dictate, control the game. But we play against a good opponent. We are aware of that. They have a great season. They have, with their manager, with their way of play, that is really a team that's hard to beat. But we are looking forward for the challenge. And as we had already many challenges this season, and we have shown so the evidence that we can beat them.
Last question in this section, Ian.
Eric, Marcus Rashford sort of gained attention this week because he was in New York. You gave them a break, and obviously he was injured and he flew to New York. But it's kind of a lot of other players do similar things, go on long breaks. Do you have a problem with that as a manager? Does it concern you that players are going on quite exhausting flights, quite long trips when they've got these sort of short breaks in a season?
Oh, I think it's positive that he was in the break, and I think Rashford. I think with Bruno, he was playing the most games of the whole squad, and I think with Manchester United is playing the most games all across Europe, and especially so the internationals, and our internationals are not players, are mostly on the bench with the nations. Mostly they are playing,